age, man. We've got all the apps to connect, but still feel disconnected. Why?
Maybe because an emoji is just not a substitute for a real hug. Ever felt like your Instagram is popping, but your life is flopping? Welcome to the loneliness epidemic, where you can have 1,000 followers, but no one to share a plate of biryani with.
Or how about this? You're on a WhatsApp group with all your cousins, and the last time that you met them was 5 years ago, on a wedding. Relatable much?
Today's theme is the hidden epidemic, loneliness in the digital age. Why we're being connected, yet all of a sudden we feel so much more lonely.
This digital age, man. We've got all the apps to connect, but still feel disconnected. Why?
Maybe because an emoji is just not a substitute for a real hug.
That's true. And we are talking about everything from the shift from joint families to nuclear setups, the effect of technology, and even AI friendships. Yes, we're going there. So get your cup of chai and get comfy because this one's going to hit home.
We could have just called this How Loneliness Has Become the Uninvited Guest in Our Digital Lives.
I had a realization during a trip to Honzali where the locals there thrive on communal living. While we city folks were glued to our screens, checking our emails and WhatsApp messages and whatnot, it made me wonder, are we trading our connection for convenience? What would happen if we brought a little bit of this communal spark back to our urban lives?
Yeah, I think actually everybody's like hustling and doing this. I need this promotion, I need this new job, I need this, I need that. And मैं सोचता हूँ, back in the day, Saturday nights at Dadi's house, you just popped in for dinner, no RSVP, no nothing, and now it's people are so busy in their lives, we hardly see each other, right?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Well, we are diving into that, aren't we, Ali? You know what psychologists say? Loneliness isn't just emotional, it's physical. It triggers stress hormone, cortisol, that messes with the heart and your health. What does chronic loneliness do, Ali?
Well, chronic loneliness isn't just a vibe. It rewires your brain. Studies show that it activates the same pain centers um, as your physical body. So when you say that loneliness hurts, that's actually physically true. All right. So let's talk about social skills. Mariam, growing up, all those jokes by Chacha at the dinner table, um, you know, we were like, yeah, you can, right? But it actually set up the tone for making us part of a social fabric, teaching us how to interact, how to respond, how to sometimes even take criticisms when, Chachi asks you about your grades or something, right? And I don't see that in our kids nowadays. They just can't take that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And lack of exposure contributes to social awkwardness, which snowballs into avoidance. So basically, it's a vicious cycle. Less interaction leads to more anxiety, which leads to lesser of interaction.
बिल्कुल ऐसा ही है.
Yeah.
Technology connects us better than ever.
I mean, Ali, let's be real. Technology, yes, it connects devices, but not necessarily our hearts. Remote work, binge watching, Netflix series or movies, and even online shopping have basically reduced that one on one and human interaction that we used to have. Sure, you can send a meme to your friends, but when was the last time that you actually had a face to face call or conversation with them?
Yeah, I mean, kids nowadays, they're not just even gaming. They're gaming on groups. They're doing calls and gaming,
Yeah.
and then there's this new phenomena where they're watching YouTubers play a game. They're not even playing the game themselves. What's up with that? It's
I wish it made sense to me because I can't get my nephews doing that either. So,
Yeah,
okay,
we're
well,
talking about a generation more comfortable with their headphones than their handshakes.
sad but true. Loneliness is just a Western problem.
Well, actually, in Pakistan, loneliness is skyrocketing. I think the trend, the shift from our, the combined family system to a nuclear family system, I think the stats say something like 52% of urban Pakistanis feel they're more lonely than ever.
And it's worse for women. A recent study by Alban University found that working women in nuclear families actually experience higher rates of loneliness and anxiety compared to those that live in joint families. Isolation isn't just a Western problem, it's a human problem.
Right. Being alone is the same as being lonely.
Big myth. Being alone can actually be healthy. It's called solitude. But loneliness, that's something you can feel even in a room full of people that you know.
Right. I mean, you could be sitting at a shadi, have a whole bunch of people, and be on your Instagram and just not connecting.
Seen that a lot. Yeah.
And it's increasing so much, isn't it?
It is. Loneliness is not about how many people you know. It's about how understood and supported you feel. John Cacioppo called it a survival mechanism. It's like hunger. It's a warning sign. It's your brain telling you that you need connection to thrive.
That's why it's so damaging, right? I mean, chronic loneliness can increase your risk of depression, your anxiety. There's even a 26% chance of your heart health being affected by it. So imagine, meh, social life can actually literally break your heart.
That's true.
So Mariam, let's talk about food. All that junk जो हम खाते हैं ना, parathas dripping with ghee, sugar loaded chai, you know, all the kheers and the kulfis and whatnot. Um, but did you know that poor nutrition, it actually affects your gut health, and gut health has been linked to um, the level of serotonin and dopamine in your body, which eventually affects depression, anxiety, focused, brain fog, all those things, right? It causes inflammation. Inflammation causes diabetes, Alzheimer's, so many things, right? So, all that, khana, chatkhare, whatnot, right? That's your mental health going out of the door.
No wonder those late night chips and chocolate, binge watching, Netflix, marathons, it makes you feel worse. And coming back to the chai culture, because I'm a huge chai fan, Ali, while tea feels like a comfort blanket, too much caffeine increases heart palpitations. It's like mimicking your anxiety symptoms. It's a vicious cycle, basically.
Right, so we need to work on our diet, omega 3s, things like fish, nuts, leafy greens, all the things that, your mom tries to make you eat, but you don't. They can actually help regulate your mood. They can help you with those stress and anxiety levels. And maybe you can swap that chai with green tea. Does culture affect this loneliness phenomenon?
Absolutely. In Pakistan, there's a stigma around loneliness. आप किसी को अगर ये बता भी देना कि you are feeling this symptom or you're feeling a feeling or you're feeling lonely to be particular, तो पहला जवाब ये आता है खानदान वालों से, घर वालों से, शादी करा दो इसकी, क्योंकि जो ये खुद नहीं संभाल पा रहा या संभाल पा रही, वो अगला आने वाला जो है वो उसके कंधे पे बोझ डाल दो, वो that will fix everything. But marriage isn't a magic fix. बल्कि अली 2022 में एक रिपोर्ट आई थी which showed that 30% of the married couples in Pakistan actually feel far more emotionally disconnected from their spouses. And the problem goes deeper.
Right. हमारा culture fascinating जरूर है मरियम, but all those daawats, shadis, eids, communal setting तो जरूर है, but शायद बहुत surface level है, हमारा deeper connection नहीं हो रहा कहीं, something's missing.
That's true. और अगर आप कभी इत्तेफाकन अगर आप में हिम्मत भी हो and you open up and you tell somebody that you're feeling lonely, तो आगे से ये भी इस तरह के भी जवाब आते हैं कि तुम्हें क्या मसला है, तुम्हारी तो इतनी बड़ी फैमिली है, तुम्हारे इतना बड़ा सोशल सर्कल है, या तुम्हारे इतने दोस्त हैं.
Right. So इतने सारे लोग, इतने सारे culture, family के साथ आप connect होके भी you're so isolated, right? And फिर वो सारा the discouragement of seeking help for your mental health, नमाज पढ़ लो, सूरह रहमान पढ़ लो, those all those things do help, सबर शुक्र, obviously therapy में भी हम वही चीजें cover करते हैं. Yet, when you're doing it and sitting down with a professional who is able to really help you and guide you through that whole process, Mariam, I think it's time we gave up that stigma around mental health and started connecting with ourselves and how we can use therapy to really change that loneliness we feel inside.
Absolutely. And while you're highlighting the Pakistani culture, Ali, हम अक्सर जो है वो कंपैरिजन करते हैं with the Western culture and the Pakistani culture. I think Western culture may lack a lot of our values. ठीक है, लेकिन वो therapy जिस तरह से just like you said, वो therapy को और mental wellness, emotional wellness, इसको बहुत propagate करते हैं, बहुत इसको prioritize करते हैं. Like you said, हमारे ये काम नहीं होता. So they're both the cultures have gaps to fill. And tech plays a role across cultures. In Pakistan, social media has replaced street cricket with your Instagram and or even chai meetups will be replaced with constant games and scrolling through Instagram and whatnot. In the West, people actually prefer texting over calling. I mean, what is going on? And the result of this is that loneliness is now a global epidemic.
Ironically, the same tech that was supposed to connect us, all those apps and all those, messengers and whatnot, they're actually disconnecting us, right? It's funny, just remembered, there's this, so my maid, right? She recently got a cell phone, and then my wife is telling me that she's like, बाजी मैं अभी नहीं कर सकती because मेरी गेम में जो है ना कोई अभी कुछ चल रहा है, something like that. And it's like, okay, I expected from my 13-year-old, but now this 20-year-old someone is all of a sudden saying बाजी मैं गेम खेल रही हूँ. So let's get to the wild side. AI friendships.
Oh, wow.
There's now apps and bots and God knows what that are acting as your virtual boyfriend or girlfriend or even a friend. You can even program them to be certain personalities. As disturbing as that sounds.
Very.
Right? And Pakistan is no far behind,
Really?
Um, so obviously we adopt everything in this global phenomena, right? It may take a little more time for it to get a trend here, but we're starting to see that same. See, if someone is lonely, connection की ज़रूरत है उसको, and he's unable to sort of connect to society, this is a great tool, right? You can, I mean, forget Chat GPT. Chat GPT is like, the basic level, right? Um, you're actually having a full-on relationship with a AI in an environment, the metaverse and whatnot. एक टाइम आएगा जब हम शायद बैठे होंगे and we're just sitting in the same room and we're actually all on like 3D kind of environments, right? So let's go on a vacation kind of thing, but sit in our living room.
It's funny that you mentioned AI relationships because abhi ek do din pehle I was scrolling through Instagram. I was looking for this was a very inspiring quote that I saw on Instagram, and somehow wo refresh hua, wo upar niche chala gaya. So I was scrolling to look for that, and I found this. Now you can train your AI boyfriend to treat you the way you want it to treat you. And I was like, what on earth is going on? And it was like a very handsome person that they created, and it was just feed it whatever you need from it, and it will act. So you have somebody to talk to you in the middle of the night. You have somebody to talk to you whenever you want, and that is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. But while we were talking about this, Ali, I think this is a band-aid solution. I mean, while AI is trying to make our lives better, or it's acting like a temporary relief, it cannot in any way replace human connection. So, Ali, this is my favorite part of the podcast. This is where we are connecting with our audiences because we get these really amazing questions like this. Does culture impact loneliness? Does culture impact loneliness? I feel isolated when surrounded by family.
Good question. So Pakistani culture, it celebrates families, but sometimes all those nosy aunties, they end up making your life feel like you're on Big Boss.
Oh, true. True. And cultures that value independence often normalize loneliness. But even in communal cultures like ours, and that was a tongue twister, which is okay, the lack of genuine emotional connection is growing, Ali.
Right. Okay. So next question. How do I overcome social awkwardness if I work remotely and barely meet people? Well, start small, like saying salam to your darzi or something.
See, social skills are like muscles. The more you use them, the stronger they get. So join a community group or volunteer somewhere, or you can start with family dinners. Practice makes perfect. Start with small intentional steps. Make one real connection daily. Whether it's calling your friend or your sibling, or even talking to your office colleague, but something that's besides work. Practice mindfulness. Recognize the feeling of loneliness without judging yourself. It is okay to feel what you're feeling. Rediscover hobbies that require community participation, like team sports or volunteering.
So here's some more tips. Create space for vulnerability. Talking about it with someone can really help you sort out your situation and work on your loneliness. Um, you can talk to your Yango driver on the way back from work. Limit passive consumption, scrolling through Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, right? Or even just mindlessly checking your email, seeing if your boss has sent you something, um, can be a distraction. Engage with others. Set tech free time for yourself while you're sitting with family, with your friends. I remember this one coffee shop once had this lock your phone kind of box there, and they would actually give you a discount if you locked your phone away for the entire meal. Try that. Here's a myth. If I'm busy, I can't be lonely. Yeah, right. Loneliness is about connection, it's not about calendars. Even the busiest professionals in Karachi are lonely.
That's Bhaskar Sona Ali. Only introverts feel lonely. So false. Extroverts can have a wide social circle and they can be in huge gatherings and have a lot of people in their lives and still feel lonely. You can be surrounded by so many people and still feel loneliness.
Loneliness means there's something wrong with me. No, actually, loneliness is a signal. It means that you need to change something. It's like a hunger. You just feed it what it needs, connection. So go out and connect with people.
Oh, this is a good one. Loneliness is solved by just going out more. And that is so not true. By social anxiety does not disappear by going out more or putting yourself into uncomfortable situations. It takes mindful effort and small steps to overcome social anxiety.
Or you could send out a text to every contact and say, Salam, kaise ho? Let's meet up. And maybe they'll reply.
Yeah, but maybe start with one contact and text them consistently.
Yeah, until they block you.
I do see that happening. See, here's what we're talking about. Loneliness isn't about who's missing in your life. It's about what is missing and you feeling unseen. And most of the times what missing is you coming out as your true authentic self. So let's step away from, not right now, you have to watch this, but later on, let's step away from our screens and step into each other's lives. Reach out, have those meaningful conversations, call people up, check on how they're doing, and remind yourself that connection is just a conversation away.
In a nutshell, connection starts with you. Be brave, reach out. Remember, loneliness is an epidemic. You can cure it. So let's log off, look up, and connect to what really matters. Real people, real conversations.
And real chai breaks.
Ever felt like your Instagram is popping, but your life is flopping? Welcome to the loneliness epidemic. Where... Okay. Today's theme, the hidden epidemic, loneliness in the digital age. What am I doing?
Okay, you're doing fine.
I'm doing fine?
You're doing fine.
I'm doing fine. Okay. I am doing fine. Record this. No, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't know.
That's true. And lack of exposure contributes. Oh, where did that come from? Okay. And tech plays a role across cultures. In Pakistan, social media has replaced street kick it. Street kick it. What the hell? Okay. What is... This is definitely going into the bloopers. Okay.
Here's a myth. Loneliness is... No.
Whatever that was, if that's loneliness, it's amazing.
All right. Lonely myth.
Lonely myth.
Lonely myth. I think our podcast is going to be shorter than our bloopers.